You are chosen, and God is working in your life. He is working. Look at that verse again, verse 3. He has caused us to be born again to a living hope. A living hope. The tomb is empty. And as we celebrated last Sunday, He lives. And He lives. And as long as He lives, there's always hope. Well, how is God working in my life, Pastor Carl? He is working in your life primarily, in many ways, but primarily through problems. Through problems. Sometimes I want to say to God, God, please, no more working in my life for a while. I got enough problems. But you know what? Listen to this. A lot of the problems in my life, it wasn't that God said, okay, I'm going to design this problem and give it to Carl. No, they're just, some of them I created. You know. And you know, like some guy said, you know, if you could kick the guy who's responsible for most of your problems, you probably wouldn't be able to sit down for a week. And so a lot of the problems you created, you know. And then a lot of problems, they're just here in life because we're in a sin-cursed world. We're not in a perfect world. And they're not necessarily designed by God for you, but He works through them. Look at this verse, Romans 8:28. You know it, but I want to remind you of it. We know, I love that certainty, we know that God causes some things, no, all things to work together for good. To those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. Does it say all things are good? No. No, it doesn't say all things are good. It says He causes all things to work together for good, even the so-called bad things that happen in our lives, according to His purpose. Notice those last two words. His purpose. His purpose. His purpose. God has a purpose for your life. He made you for a reason. He put you here for a reason. And as long as you're breathing right now, He's still got a purpose for your life. He's not done with you. He's working in your life. And so God causes all things to work together for good. And you might be saying, I don't see any good coming out of what I'm going through right now, Pastor Carl. I don't see any good. And you know what? When Joseph was sold by his brothers, do you remember he had such wonderful brothers that they sold him, you know, into slavery. He was taken down to Egypt. And when they did that, was that the will of God for his brothers to do that? Not at all. Not at all. But did God use it? Oh, God used it. Yes, He did. And then Joseph was tried to be a faithful servant, a steward in Potiphar's house. And Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him, and Joseph refused, and so she lied about him, and he's thrown in prison. Was that God's will for her to? No, not at all. But God uses even all things. Even the evil people who, and was God working in Joseph's life? Oh, yes, He was. God was preparing Joseph. God was strengthening Joseph so He could put him on the throne. So He could help him to be a minister to many others and to be a blessing to many others. And so God had a purpose for Joseph's life, to bring His people through a famine. And God has a purpose for your life, a very significant purpose. The purpose of problems is to prove my faith. Joseph's faith was strengthened by the problems. It was made strong. A faith that cannot be tested cannot be trusted. Your faith will be tested. In fact, we won't take time to turn to it, but if we were to look at Genesis 22, verse 1, it says, and God tested Abraham. Sometimes God does create a problem, you know, to test my faith. He said, Abraham, bring Isaac up to Mount Moriah. That was a problem devised by God. And so God is testing and refining your faith. Job says, He knows the way I take. When He has tried me, tested me, I shall come forth as gold. I will come forth stronger. Look at this verse. Therefore, we do not lose heart. But though our outer man is decaying, yet our inner man is being renewed day by day. Look at that. Our inner man is being strengthened, renewed, becoming stronger day by day. Isn't that something? God working in your life through the problems. And He is not done with you yet. He is still working. He has chosen you. He is working in your life. Warren Wiersbe, the great Bible commentator, said this about problems. Listen to this. Life today is a school in which God trains us for future ministry in eternity. Isn't that interesting? Future ministry in eternity. We're all going to have something to do in eternity. Did you know that? Life today is a school in which God trains us for future ministry in eternity. This explains the presence of trials in our lives. They are some of God's tools and textbooks in the school of Christian experience. He called them textbooks, tools in God's school of experience. And so, remember this. I am chosen of God. God is working in my life. He is building my faith. He is changing me day by day to become more like Jesus Christ. Number 3, there's a third thing, and we see it in verse 4 of 1 Peter. He says, we have a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead to obtain an inheritance. To obtain an inheritance which is imperishable, undefiled, and will not fade away, reserved in heaven for you. The third thing we need to remember when we go through problem is this. God has secured my future. God has secured my future. I may not know how this problem is going to turn out. I don't know how I'm going to make it the next week. I may be struggling with, but you know what? God has secured my future. Because I'm in His family, I have an inheritance. God inspired Peter to tell these people that. He said, I want you to tell them that I've chosen them. I want you to tell them that I'm working in their life. I want you to tell them that I have secured their future. They have an inheritance because they're in the family. Do you have an inheritance? What kind of an inheritance? Well, the Bible uses 4 terms to describe it. It's imperishable. Imperishable inheritance. That means incorruptible inheritance. Imperishable, incorruptible, undefiled. Undefiled. It can't be stained or cheapened. Will not fade away. It won't grow old. It won't wear out. Reserved. It never can be canceled. Wow. What an inheritance. It can never be wiped out. Like things in this world, all of a sudden gone, slip away. Yes, but Pastor Carl, maybe I can't hold out. Look at here. If you think you can lose something God has chosen to give you, you don't understand grace. You don't understand grace. If you think you can lose something God said I'm going to give you, then you don't understand grace. He saved us by grace. Look at Titus 3:5. He saved us not on the basis of deeds which we have done. No. But according to His mercy. There it is again, His mercy. That's how He saved us. Look at this one in Ephesians 2. For by grace you have been saved through faith. Not of yourselves, it's the gift of God. Not as a result of works. Oh no, it's a gift from God. So you didn't earn it. It was a gift from God.